Hello everyone, happy Libra new moon. So this new moon happened at 28 degrees in Libra. So that means the sun and moon are conjunct at 28 degrees Libra. And this is going to be a pretty magical week as Venus is being super stubborn. This new moon, it's got a lot of interesting aspects. In fact, the trine aspect, which is one of the most harmonious and favorable aspects, happens over 6 times. And this new moon is highlighted by a yod, which includes the sun and conjunct moon in Libra, and a water grand trine. I'm going to draw it. Oh, here's tape. Just like this. Force this to go nowhere. Going nowhere. Let's go with the red. So yeah, the water grand trine again. Very powerful water grand trine. Jupiter is the planet of expansion and luck. So we'll start with Jupiter in Cancer, and then it is forming a trine with conjunct Mercury and Mars in Scorpio, which they are both forming a trine with Saturn and Pisces. So as you see here, excuse my terrible triangle, but this is a grand triangle. So grand trines are probably my favorite aspect because it's the most power you can get out of an element because you have planets in each sign of that element. In this case, it's a water grand trine, so very significant here. So again, Jupiter's the planet of expansion and luck and growth, and Saturn is like the gatekeeper of your reality and the reality of this realm slash world, and your taskmaster. So Saturn is like the ultimate disciplinary and the ultimate coach, the ultimate teacher. Think Whis from Dragon Ball Super. And then we have Mercury, which is communication and quick movement, conjunct forward energy, which is Mars. So we got forward energy and quick energy and great communication with Mercury and Mars. And then we have the ultimate disciplinary, ultimate wisdom teacher in Saturn, the taskmaster. Again, think Whis, Dragon Ball Super, and then we have the planet of expansion, so in Jupiter, so very powerful grand trine. And now the other significant pattern or aspect or formation that we have during this new moon is the sun and moon, obviously conjunct in Libra, forming a yod with Uranus in Gemini and Neptune in Aries. So, and pretty much Neptune and Saturn are pretty much conjunct. There's about a 4-degree orb. The only difference is that Neptune is still in Aries and Saturn is in Pisces. So it's an interesting conjunction with the 4 or 5-degree orb because they're both in different signs, but still very powerful. But for this shot, we're going to focus on the sextile between Uranus and Gemini, as Uranus betrays me. I have a backup plan for this kind of situation if these planets are being stubborn. So you gotta give them some tape. Always have a backup plan, and then have a backup plan to your backup plan, and then another backup plan just in case. So yeah, so then we have this yod with the conjunct sun and moon during this new moon. At the apex of this yod, because we have Uranus forming a sextile still with Neptune in Aries, so that's a 60-degree favorable aspect and super powerful because those are 2 of the 3 big outer planets, Neptune, Uranus. So whenever these 2 have any formation or anything happening between them, any favorable aspect or any aspect or conjunction or etc., big things are changing in the world. And so you combine that energy with this new moon. So at the apex of their sextile and of this yod is the conjunct sun and new moon. So this new moon is it's directly in the center of this sextile. So this is already a powerful formation between Uranus and Neptune, and a little bit of Saturn in there too. And in the center of that, at the peak of that yod or apex of it, is the new moon, which is a sun conjunct the moon. So very powerful as well. Neptune is the planet of mysticism, art, and it's also like our dream world and our fantasy. This is everything that's fun about us as people is represented by Neptune. And then Uranus governs society and is also known as the Great Awakener. So it's known to move society forward or really just set the stage for what's happening or what's going to be happening. So you combine the Great Awakening with mysticism, spirituality, and art, and you place the new moon right at the center of that. So very powerful formation. So this sextile is very powerful already, but it's being almost quadrupled because you have a conjunct sun and new moon, right at the center of it. So this light is being reflected back right at the center of us, which is Earth. So we're getting a lot of move forward energy, a lot of great awakening energy, and a lot of spiritual awakening as well. And so that's being reflected by this new moon. So super powerful new moon, and this new moon will set the stage for the rest of the month. This is like super big because like all the planets are involved here. The only planets that are kind of like hanging out on their own is is Venus in Libra and Pluto in Aquarius. But by the way, they're also forming a trine with each other. So, and then they just got like, the trine, it's got an 8-degree orb, but it's still a grand trine because you have Venus in Libra, which is an air sign, and then you have Uranus in Gemini, which is an air sign, and then you have Pluto in Aquarius, which is an air sign. So, what that means is every planet is working together at this time, and they're all in very favorable, super dope, super magical aspects. I know that this is like a kind of a foobar board, but this board has been through stuff that you would not believe. So it's almost like I'm holding on to it, even though there's like marks that I can't get rid of. I'm holding on to it until I get a new one. But also, it's just like this board like shows what we've been through in the last couple of years. So I kind of like it. It's kind of beat up. It's kind of dirty looking, but it's not. I cleaned it as much as I can. It's just some of its permanent markers. I can't get rid of it. So. But this symbolizes how perfect this year has been. It doesn't matter how messy it's gotten and how like beaten up this year has gotten, or how much beaten up we feel by this year. The magic is still happening right now. So put that in your front and your back pocket. It doesn't matter how beat up you are after this year. The magic is still happening. So the best thing we can do is continue to move forward. But yeah, this is like a super, super dope new moon. And honestly, the astrology from now up and through past Halloween is going to be super, super amazing. Especially once you see Venus getting closer to like the 20 to 29 degrees. It's going to be forming a lot of aspects with Uranus, Neptune, and Saturn, and even still Jupiter. So yeah, the magic's going to continue. But yeah, super dope new moon, and it's going to be an interesting rest of the year. We have a lot of interesting things happening outside. We hit the Northern Lights for the 6th time here in Midland, Texas in the last 2 months, which is pretty unprecedented because I don't think the Northern Lights have been seen, or the Aurora Borealis have been seen in Midland, Texas, probably 6 times in the last 50 years. So for it to happen 6 times in the last 45 to 60 days, super magical. Not being reported, no one's paying attention, no one cares, but nonetheless, pretty significant and it like certifies everything that I'm talking about in astrology when I see stuff like that. And it doesn't matter like what's going on outside of like when I think about like social media and like all the stuff that's happening through this like little device called a cell phone, it's almost like it's just not even real. It's like not even in my reality. It's like in another dimension, another realm. So it's interesting and entertaining to look at sometimes, but it's completely insignificant to what's happening in this reality, what you're seeing right now. And so yeah, I have the Q&A answers coming. A lot of super dope, interesting questions to be answered. Might put those up today. But other than that, that's pretty much all I got for this new moon. But yeah, super magical new moon, and really setting the stage for this upcoming next 10 days, which will include Halloween, which is super dope, super fun. So yeah, remember to stay focused on whatever seeds you've planted. Keep watering them no matter what. Even when the water gets dirty, don't throw that water out. Water your seeds with that water, if you know what I mean. Just keep watering it, keep moving forward. And yeah, interesting times. So this is Super Lit Astrology. My name is Angel. Again, super dope formations. We have the water grand trine with Jupiter conjunct Mercury and Mars, and Saturn and Pisces. And then we have a super dope yod with the sextile between Uranus and Gemini, Neptune and Aries. And at the center of that yod is the new moon conjunct the sun. So super dope energy, super magical, great time for seed planting, seed watering, and manifesting just as much as possible, and not letting anything else in the outside really, at this point, like everything that's in your phone that you see, it's pretty much false. Because if it's not in your like reality, if it's not happening to you, it doesn't affect you, to be honest. So yeah, keep that in mind and just keep focused on watering and planting and watering your seeds over and over again. So have a super dope week, and I will see you guys real soon. And this is Super Little Sean. You have a great day.